Well, I don't think Miss Alice is coming.
I was ready to do something for her.
Yeah. Let me check my emails. Oh, and also, was your mail coming to the P.O. box or to our box in Crescent Halls?
P.O. box?
Oh, no, we haven't got anything.
Yeah.
Because I know we had to wait, I think Dottie was checking, but she came back. The other one.
Yeah, it had to be by, I think it was Monday, but
Oh.
let's double check.
Okay. All right. I mean, I guess I'll go lock the door. I'll wait for them to come.
Okay, so I know.
Yeah.
Latricia was.
There's some people.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right.
I was looking for.
Oh, when you told me, I was like,
No, that was one, you could use the same, yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I was like, wow.
okay.
Yeah, that was great.
end, but I think we have a quorum, so we can get to it. Apologize. All right. Well, there's no, Maria's not here to do roll call because she's downstairs.
I could do it.
You can do it? Okay. All right. I will call the meeting to order. Can we do a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Hicks,
Here.
Commissioner Payne,
Here.
Commissioner Bellamy,
On his way.
Commissioner Washington. Oh gosh, I'm supposed to be keeping a sheet.
Is Miss Alice okay, actually? I haven't seen her in a while.
Might not hurt just to check up on her.
Okay.
We can talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Try to keep this for Maria real quick. All right, Commissioner Wicks
Here.
and Commissioner Goldblatt. Yeah,
Commissioner Rodalis.
yep, Commissioner Dallas. Commissioner Bellamy,
Present.
we have quorum.
Awesome. All right, we will do a moment of silence. Okay, we'll now move forward to the annual plan resolution. And I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Glenn Matthews.
Thank you, everyone. I have a very short presentation. I'll just share on the screen. I just came from the public hearing over at Crescent Halls. It's good to be here with you tonight. Tonight, I'm doing a presentation on the fiscal year 2025-2026 annual plan. It would run April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. I have a pretty brief agenda. I'm just going to talk about the process that we followed with this document. Some of the amendments that are part of the process is we have the public meetings, the response from our resident advisory board and housing authority response. We have time for questions and comments. I'll talk about next steps with the document, and then there's the resolution for board approval. So for the, I'm going to come back to that in just a second. So our calendar, we started back in May with a meeting with the FAR board just to talk about the process. The Housing Authority, instead of drafting a plan and then beginning public meetings, prefers to have meetings with our resident advisory board before drafting the plan. So there was a series of monthly meetings that kicked off in July, with the official draft being posted October 28th. And then we went into the public meeting phase. All these meetings were hybrid. They were held in community centers and also via Zoom. It was posted in the newspaper, on paper, in rent statements, on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. We were able this year for the first time to also have the document in Arabic, and we were able to get several copies out that way as they were requested. We did not have any requests for other languages, but we have committed next year to try to translate the plan into as many languages as we can when we post it. We were able to get flyers out in the multiple languages, which I'll go back to in just a second. But the official document was posted October 28th. And then after that, we, started the meeting process. And I'm just going to pause for a moment so we could talk about RAB comments with our executive director from FAR.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Latricia, as y'all have met me before, and I am the executive director of FAR. So thank you all for just giving me an opportunity to speak for a few moments about the critical relationship between residents, the Public Housing Association of Residents, and CRHA. So at the heart of this relationship, it is about the partnership, accountability, and trust. At FAR, the Resident Advisory Board, the RAB, is a vital part of our organization made up of FAR's board members who are residents. The RAB is where residents come together to share their lived experiences and provide invaluable insights to the challenges and opportunities within their communities, within our communities. The RAB ensures that residents have a seat at the table when shaping CRHA's annual plan, which is a blueprint for policies, budgets, and programs that directly impact our lives. This plan isn't just about meeting a HUD requirement for us. It is about creating a shared vision for the future of our housing. Of course, FAR, we're a resident-led, resident-driven organization that exists to empower and amplify the voices of public housing residents. Through advocacy, education, and organizing, FAR ensures that residents are equipped to engage meaningfully in decision-making and hold CRHA accountable. The RAB plays a central role in this work, demonstrating how residents can lead the charge for positive change. Our relationship with CRHA is the key to making this vision a reality. CRHA, of course, manages housing, but it is the residents who experience the day-to-day impacts of the policies. That's why it is essential for CRHA to engage with residents as true partners. Transparency, accountability, and responsiveness are the foundations of this trust. When residents see their voices reflected in action, it strengthens the partnership, builds confidence in the things that we're working together. I deeply believe in the power of this partnership to create lasting change. For residents, this means stepping up, getting involved, and using our voices for FAR and the RAB and beyond. And of course, I want to just keep saying I am happy for this process, and through what we will continue, the RAB has and will continue to shape the ways in which residents can really have the impact. And that is what we are really grateful for in this process. And I know that sometimes there'll be rubs, there'll be different things that occur because we are truly trying to make impactful, meaningful transformation for community members. It starts with the RAB, but we want all resident voices to be included. And I think what we've presented is a reflection of the work that we have done over the past few months to make sure that meaningful impact was given from the community. And honestly, we do want to continue to engage and create more community. We want to build that. So this is just a starting point. So this, once again, is a reflection of what we've been working on and those residents' voices. So thank you all. If I don't say anything else today, happy holidays to you all, but thank you for reading our comments and working with us to make a better community for all of our residents. So thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. We just got the comments last night, so we're going to be sending them on to the board. And Mr. Sales has just done a draft shortly before the meeting that he's about to finalize that I'll also share with you. Did you want to talk at all about this document, or just go ahead? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go over to the section of the executive director response where we broke down each of the sections that were in here. We had talk about the reduction in overall number of families served, new activities, resident bill of rights, importance of preserving public housing, reduced number of units at 6th Street, updated policies, eviction policy, and a wrap-up. And I'm going to go on. So we took the document that we got last night, and last night we started breaking it all out so we could make sure and respond to everything. And Mr. Sales is going to be finalizing this and sending it to everyone either tonight or tomorrow morning. I do not believe any changes have been made to this, but he wasn't able to sign from the West Haven event. He didn't have his laptop with him. But we took everything in the letter we got from FAR and inserted it into this response document, so we made sure we didn't miss anything. So section 1, the number of public housing units, voucher and combined number of voucher units have been reduced since the number reported in last year's annual plan. And Mr. Sales went on to talk about with redevelopment, we've seen a significant increase in housing assistant payments, which has caused the Housing Authority to enter a shortfall with our voucher program. Due to the shortfall, the Housing Authority has been unable to lease up additional vouchers to serve families on the wait list. For section 2, with new activities, we had a lot of information on there this year of the annual plan around redevelopment efforts. And in the comments that we got from FAR, they acknowledged that, this is talking about replacement of traditional public housing, which is very difficult. And Mr. Sales wanted to talk about that a bit, that, we're committed to preserving Section 9, which is another name for public housing units. So Section 8 is the voucher and Section 9 is public housing. And we want to provide deeply affordable housing through our redevelopment efforts. But we are finding with that lower subsidy with Section 9 that there is a difference.
Sorry, so so with section 9 though, we have the fixed number and we can't go above that, right?
No, but we currently are below that number. We have some in a bank right now. It's a Faircloth number that we could build if we were able to afford to, or we could explore opportunities to place those units in other places that might not need as much upkeep.
So we don't have the 300, we don't have 326?
We our number for Faircloth is 376.
Oh,
So that's why it's, it is noticeable this year, there's not 376 units of public housing. What we do have now that we never had before was project-based vouchers.
got it, okay.
The Resident Bill of Rights, I think some of you were involved back in 2008 when FAR worked really hard with the Housing Authority to draft the Resident Bill of Rights. A lot of things that were in that document are worth revisiting because, there's regulations that have come into place with the different subsidies we've chosen. Mr. Sales' response was the CRHA is committed to removing and reducing barriers for residents to return home after redevelopment. In most cases, CRHA cannot control additional regulatory rescreening or application processes. The Housing Authority is committed to working with FAR to modify the Bill of Rights to ensure it is in line with the work that's actually occurring. There was a hope when this document was first drafted in 2008 that we could make things as easy as possible for residents with relocation. And what wasn't anticipated was a lot of the regulations that are in place with low-income housing tax credits and just the whole transition process for residents. We've been working really hard to streamline that process and make it as easy as we can, but there are regulations that have to be followed. Number 4, the importance of preserving public housing. It is part of our plan. It's one of our goals. Mr. Sales wanted to note that CRHA is committed to working with FAR to preserve Section 9 and protect the rights of residents who are residing in these communities. I know Mr. Sales, I just wanted to note, is also working with legal aid and Ms. Giles from FAR on looking at policy, how we can make sure that the ability to organize and other things that might not be inherent with some of our other programs are part of this. Mr. Sales also noted the resident planners made further decisions that reduced the total number of units that were proposed for Phase 2 of 6th Street. And so the CRHA anticipates a total of 80 to 90 units on the site once the entire project is completed.
Captain, can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
Sorry, colleagues. Can you break down briefly, what's the difference between Section 8 and Section
Sure. Section 8 is our voucher programs. So it's a subsidy in which we have quite a few voucher programs. We have programs that are traditional where someone gets leased up, they get a voucher, they need to find a place to rent in the community that fits within the parameters of that voucher they received. We also have vouchers for individuals that are aging out of foster care, veterans, which is the VASH program, family reunification. But a new thing with Housing Authority is project-based vouchers. That's where they are specifically assigned to the unit. And, but that is Section 8, which is a different subsidy than Section 9, which is the public housing subsidy. And I think Mr. Sales has talked to this group a couple of times about this with some of the difficult choices around redevelopment and looking at pro formas that the subsidy is significantly less for Section 9. And some really hard decisions have been made around that.
So all vouchers fall under Section 8?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. Let me see.
Thank you.
Sure. And I know we had talked at one point about having a meeting just around the voucher program, and we could probably, look for 2025 to have something for that, because it is a growing program. So Section B was around updated policies. So we are anticipating some public and Indian housing notices, they're called PIH notices, to be coming out soon with 2025, and we also are aware of, the HOTMA updates that we're going to be needing to follow. So we are anticipating, some policy changes that will need to be made, and working closely with our partners at FAR. A big thing we'll be looking at is where we have areas of discernment with these policies, but there will also be new housing and urban development regulations. And some may be impacted by the new administration. Mr. Sells just wanted to say that CRHA will work with FAR to reduce the impact of these changes on residents.
Can I,
Yep.
just briefly, I don't know if Dr. Goldblatt can see, can you see? Oh, all right. I just wanted to make sure that she, not because she can't see, but like, 'cause she's at the end of the podium.
Sure.
She's got her glasses on, she's all
Yeah,
good.
but I wanted to, I think it would be fair to say Dr. Goldblatt has been one of the fiercest proponents for ensuring that we do everything which we can prior to getting to eviction.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I wanted to ensure that not only did she have the opportunity to see it, but making sure that if she had comments or the space for her to say anything that she wanted to. Not putting you on the spot, you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm looking forward to the January work session, and I haven't had a chance, I'd love to see, if everyone could, I'd like to see what FAR's specific recommendations were and look over what the RAC had put together for what they want to see in the eviction process.
And I do have the comments up here on the screen, and we're going to be sending them out to everyone. I'm just trying to get Mr. Sales' signature
Sure.
to finalize it. He was at West Haven. We're having a holiday celebration with the planners there, and he was greeting everyone at the door, but he's working on that shortly. So, just like was stated here, the Housing Authority is going to look at and analyze the provisions of our previous eviction process. We're planning to talk about this in January, and we're also going to be looking at, any new federal guidance we're getting on that. And did you want to talk about any of this, or do you want me? Okay. We were grateful for FAR's comments in this last section. I know FAR's had just recently got their first executive director in decades, and it's just been, well, there was, I guess, in a little bit, and it's been great for us to have that partnership. We have so much to work on this year, and seeing like all the new interns come in with FAR, it's gonna just make this, all this work, be a lot more exciting. I was able to do one of the public meetings with all the FAR interns, and it was by far my favorite meeting. We went through every single page of the plan, and I hope to have more engaged audiences like that next year. Great. Any questions?
So I have a couple questions, and I'm happy to jump in. Others might have questions too. I was pleased to hear that the plan was translated into Arabic, but it did make me wonder. I was just wondering a little bit about like what's the reading level of the plan, and like thinking about that, and then also thinking about how that seems like a translation challenge. Like, are the people translating able to translate a document at a reading level that the residents living in public housing who speak that language can understand? Do we have a pulse on like how many of our residents might not be literate and would need to have some sort of an oral presentation or something like that? I don't know if you have answers about that.
I don't, what I did with a couple of requests is I asked our translator to go to some homes, and he sat down and explained the document. But we do know we have a lot of, not just English learners, but individuals that weren't given the opportunity to learn how to read, maybe where they were living before, especially a lot of women that we talk to every day who are really eager for us to try to find safe spaces for them to do that. And I think I would love the opportunity to talk about ideas to make this document more approachable. And I think there's a lot of room for that. We're also working on language cards where someone can go in and point at their language, and we're trying to find a symbol that is approvable for and acceptable for signing, and just something that I need help reading. So that's something that's being worked on right now.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great maybe at a future work session if we could think a little bit about some of the translation issues that have been coming up, and to see if there's partnerships that we could have, especially for people who are eager to learn to read. I understand it might be difficult to help people to learn to read in their native language, but I wonder if we could have people who are willing to help them learn to read in English, because I think that would be big. I have a few others, but I want to, if people care if I run through the questions I had.
Go for it.
So yeah, if we could have a future work session about this, I think that would be great. So then the other question I had is I'm just wondering a little bit about enforcement. So I'm looking forward to seeing the document with the CRHA comments and being able to look back and forth. I'm wondering for next year's annual plan, if we could like have a document where we compare, we can say like, here are the FAR comments from last year, here was the CRHA response, and here's how this has been reflected in next year's annual plan. Because what I think like under Ms. Giles, FAR has a really strong leader, and I want to make sure those residents' voices don't just come to a meeting, but they're like, this is meaningfully changing how things are happening. And so I'm wondering if we could try to build some of that into next year's process, so we can really see like, here's how these things changed as we're getting, as we're seeing the updates to the plan. Okay, cool. And then I'm wondering just how, like you said that the meetings were really well attended. And then the last question I'm just wondering about, I'm thinking about Faircloth, and I guess I'm asking, this is like, I realize the answer is yes, but I'm wondering really, so like, we can have up to 376 units, we have 326. Is it ever possible, like, is there any world in which we could get to 376?
There are some scenarios where we could look at placing them different places, like possibly, like, say, I'm just gonna give an example. Say we had a dogwood unit in really good shape that didn't need a lot of upkeep. A subsidy could be attached.
Okay.
But I think we're also gonna have to really pay attention to what's gonna be happening, with subsidies this coming year.
Yeah.
And just to make sure, we're setting up a scenario that will be successful.
Cool. Okay, so then my last question is thinking about what's going to be happening this year and the next 4 years, or hopefully not longer, but you never know. I'm just wondering what it would look like to try to attach locally as many of the protections in Section 9 to Section 8 vouchers. Like, is HUD gonna be like onto this strategy and put the kibosh on it? Like, is this a thing that we could try to do to make all of our vouchers look as much like Section 9 as we can?
I will say that Mr. Sales, Ms. Giles, and Victoria at Legal Aid have been working on some of that.
Okay.
Did you want to mention anything?
The biggest thing is that we are trying to make a solution that would be comparable for all of residents in CRHA.
Okay.
That is a big issue, and it is a big concern because we are trying to make sure we're preserving public housing and making sure that that is an affordable option that will always stand.
Okay.
So we are trying to figure out what is gonna be the best way to make sure voices are still heard, because it does even impact the ways in which we can even operate in some ways, so that's a big concern.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other folks on the board that have questions for Ms. Glenn Matthews?
So the next steps, when I'm finished here, I'm hoping to see the board work on a resolution for the plan and approve it. We have several documents that will be going to Dr. Bellamy and Mr. Sales to be signed for certifications of the plan. I have, this year, for the first time in a long time, HUD has a portal for submitting the annual plan, and it doesn't actually ask for everything that we did in it, so we're also going to email a copy that is more comprehensive. We had a whole planning process that they don't really ask for any of that. They just ask for RAB comments and the hearing. So we just wanted to give them the whole document. So we had a few things that were kind of last minute, just due to just different things that were happening. The city manager, Sam Sanders, was out of the office, and we were really grateful to the deputy city manager, James Freese, who agreed to sign our document after it was reviewed by city staff to make sure it was consistent with the regional plan or the consolidated plan. This form looks a little different this year. It was generated by the HUD portal. It's one of the forms that's required for that. Our attorney, who I believe is with us, Delphine, was really wonderful. At the last minute, she helped us take one more look at our resolution, because we are submitting it differently this year, and she just made a few little amendments to that, and that is the document here. Delphine, did you want to say anything about that?
No, I think we're all good. You covered it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And then I'm gonna just stop sharing here for a second. And there's going to be a document that will be inserted into it. I already did it with the amendment that I made this past month, where I started inserting minutes from meetings we had, as well as we had translated flyers, and I realized they hadn't been attached to the plan, so I attached them in November in different languages. Everything from the hearing tonight and this meeting will be added, as well as the RAB comments and Mr. Sales' response, and that it'll all be noted on this document, which will be part of the plan, so you can see anything that changed from October 28th.
Awesome. Any additional questions or comments for Ms. Glenn Matthews?
No, ma'am. Madam Vice Chair, I'd like to make a motion to pass this resolution approving the submission of the Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority's proposed annual plan for fiscal year 25 and 26.
I'll second.
Can we get a call?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
All opposed?
All right, thank you, everyone. Do you want to take over? Okay. Don't make crazy eyes at me. Okay, I will now open it up for FAR comments. No? Okay. Any public comments? All right, that covers our agenda for this evening. Are there any other comments from the board? Okay, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Madam Vice Chair, I'd like to propose a motion for adjournment.
I second.
May I have a call, please?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I need to send that one out. I need to send that one out. The forms to be signed?
Yeah, I couldn't find the document on it. It was a little complicated, so I'll just have to tell you verbally. I was looking for it, so I did roll call for you.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I was trying to find
It's supposed to be signed. I just saw it. I don't know.
Mine is very pumped.
Cool.
So, and it actually worked out perfectly because she has a 4-H team leader meeting from 6 to 7:30.
Perfect.
She won't need any pizza
Thank
because
you,
she'll eat
gentlemen.
pizza there.
Oh, amazing. Excellent.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, we've got the Hanukkah party at his school right before, so he's probably like, if he's even still awake when she gets there, he's
Good,
gonna be
man.
pretty tired. But Alex
They
will
clear
come
out all the
to
drama
sleep,
out there.
and then he'll just like go in the synagogue and we'll go out. I don't think that we're gonna be able to make it to be out very
Damn, they
late,
give
so.
my boy a hard time.
Latest will be done like 10. It's fine.
So, yeah, she's pumped.
See you later.
She's all about independent.
Well, there you go.
Being, yeah, she was like, I want a job, and she got her second job at Charlottesville.
Cool.
So she's been, and so I actually,
Right now, and you just had.
yes, but she doesn't share very much of it. And oh, it's really good. My stomach prefers my tongue the time of ice cream, but it is so like creamy and amazing. And lately they've had, not to be confused with Rev Soup, but Rib Soup.